Good morning. My name is Valerie and I'm with Laurel Ridge Treatment Center. And today we are going to be discussing mindfulness and meditation. And we have an amazing session scheduled today with Lisa. She is going to be, at the end of our session, she's going to be providing guided imagery. And so I very much look forward to that. I'm going to go ahead and get started with this today. You can hear my little bitty in the background. So, a lot of times, especially during these times, we are really inundated with a lot of information. So, we're learning a lot of new things for most of us while we are using social media and we're accessing other types of electronics and virtual communication. For most of us, we were sort of thrown into learning a lot of new programming and trying to be most efficient in an area that maybe we weren't so familiar with. And maybe it's an area we didn't even want to. And so mindfulness can really help us in a variety of ways. And we're going to talk about that today. So mindfulness is so many things. It's not just one thing. So when we talk about mindfulness, I really want you to think about it in this way where it's an incredible resource and it can really help us with our whole day. And it can really help us in each and every way that we are working with clients or students, even parents. So it can help us in our personal life and our professional life. And I'm hoping that you guys are able to see my screen. So when we talk about mindfulness, it is some of these things, but this is not the total, right? So it's really expansive. So we're developing trust with ourselves and others. We're really developing patience with ourselves and others. It's absolutely about gratitude, being in the moment. This word is really important. Mindfulness is about not striving. And so making that shift to being in the moment and not feeling like we are constantly having to complete all these tasks. It is spontaneous. And that's one of the really wonderful things about mindfulness is you can use it right in the moment. You don't really actually need a bunch of tools while you can expand and bring in a bunch of tools. And we'll talk a little bit about that. You really can just use yourself in your space to practice mindfulness. And so it's just an incredible resource. So exactly what is mindfulness when we're talking about mindfulness? So mindfulness is an awareness of one's internal states and surroundings. So it's inside, right? We're noticing maybe I'm feeling a little anxious. Maybe I'm feeling worried. Maybe I'm feeling joy. Maybe I'm feeling peaceful. So what is it that's actually going on inside, and how am I interpreting the world, and what's happening around me? So sometimes when we're very busy and we are going on about our day, we're not necessarily paying attention to what's happening on the inside. And sometimes we're not even paying attention to what's happening around us. Have you ever been driving down the road and all of a sudden you're thinking, where am I going? What am I doing? Right? And so we're not always in the present moment. Sometimes we're thinking about all of the tasks that we have to accomplish for the rest of the day, or maybe we're daydreaming about a trip that we're going to take. And so it's really about developing awareness of our internal states and surroundings, cultivating that through meditation. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that means. So we're making that purposeful focus. So we're shifting our attention on our breath and our thoughts and our feelings and sensations, our experiences as they come up, as they arise. Now, the reason why I really wanted to sort of separate out mindfulness and meditation is because while they often work really well together, they're good friends, they hang out, and they complement one another. They are a bit different and they can be used differently. And sometimes we think, oh, I don't have time for meditation. I don't have time for that. And so I really want to just lay a little bit of framework and foundation for the difference between meditation and mindfulness. And while they do go hand in hand, they are a bit different. So to meditate is to engage in contemplation or reflection. And that can be in a variety of ways. I think that when we think about meditation in a traditional sense, we imagine the individual with their, their fingers, and they're sitting with their legs comfortably crossed. And we think of it in a way of, really clearing the mind, which a lot of times when I work with my clients, this feels sort of frustrating, uncomfortable. And so, really, I want to challenge you to sort of shift your thinking. So, meditation can be a tool to slow the mind, to slow the breath, to become more present, and to push away the rapid thinking, right? The constant thinking and inundating ourselves with all these thoughts and emotions. But it can also be a time to really reflect and focus on something in particular. So, for example, we can really be focused on gratitude, love, peace, warmth. We can really shift our mind. So, for example, let's say, for example, I am going to start my mindfulness gratitude journal. So, I'm going to spend a few minutes every day jotting down things that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for my work. I'm grateful for the educators that I get to work with. I'm grateful that I get to learn every day really new things in creative ways. So I jot all of those down. Well, then I might want to actually spend a little time meditating. And so I might pick one of those items that I'm grateful for and just spend time reflecting on all of the ways that I'm grateful. So if I were to take my children, I can think of lots of things that make me grateful to have them in my life, that they bless me. And I could spend time meditating on that. So meditation is really expansive, and there's a variety of different ways to use this. And so I'm hoping that today we can walk away with some ideas of how to start incorporating this in our personal life and our professional life to help reduce stress and also promote the overall health and well-being of our mind, our body, and our spirit. With mindfulness, just like anything else, we want to be deliberate. We really want to focus on something intentionally. So I want to seek out intentionally something that I'm going to focus on. This absolutely takes practice. And so, just like any new habit that we are working to develop, we want to set aside time. And so, I don't know if you're like me, but I've got to put things in my schedule. If it's not on my agenda or my smartphone calendar, it's highly unlikely that it's going to happen. And to be honest, for most of us, self-care, we often, if we're helpers, which you guys are, you're constantly helping and serving other people, it's very easy for us to justify or be distracted, or just say to yourself, well, I don't have time for this. I'm going to have to do this later. And then later never happens, right? And so it's really important that we go ahead and set aside time each day to make sure that we are practicing that. One of the neat things, I remember when we looked at that definition, it's about our internal system. And so we're really getting in touch with what it is that we're reacting. How are we reacting? What are our thoughts and feelings associated with something? And so we can start this practice in a really safe space. For example, if we were going to practice mindfulness while we're walking in nature. So let's just say, for example, we decided that part of our self-care routine is going to be to walk in the neighborhood for 30 minutes each evening. We can practice mindfulness while we're doing this. So perhaps we're going to watch the way the wind plays in the tree, right? How the leaves are reacting to the environment. But then we can turn that inside of us and take notice of the changes that are happening. Are we feeling more calm as we're walking? What is our reaction to the tree? So, for example, I love nature. So, I might actually, one of my favorite things is clouds. I love clouds. And my kids would tell you hands down, yes, their mom loves clouds, because I'm the one that's always like, hey, look at the clouds, they're so beautiful. So I might spend time looking at how, the clouds are expanding, what colors they are, how they're changing. And if I were to be mindful of my internal state, I would be able to recognize that I'm feeling more calm, I'm feeling peaceful, I'm likely feeling grateful for the clouds. And so, another great way to look at mindfulness, and you guys do this on a regular basis, right? It's learning to observe, and it's learning to observe in a different way. So, a lot of us, especially educators, whether you're a teacher or a school counselor, you are trained to observe. You are the best at observing. You are listening and watching and paying attention to subtleties and things that others may dismiss. You are really engaged in understanding the big picture of what is happening. And so that takes this same concept, that same toolbox, but it applies it internally. And so rather than reacting, which it's very easy for us to do, especially in a busy life, rather than reacting, we're going to learn how to be an observer. This is difficult because in many ways we've been trained to react, right? We have a lot of information coming in, we're multitasking, and we got to be on the ball all the time. And so what I want to say to you is that the way that you've crafted that response time and being able to, multitask, maybe we'll have time to talk about multitasking a little bit more, but we really aren't great at that. And so one of the things that I want to encourage you is to think about making the shift, recognizing that we do have time to slow down a little bit and we can become observers versus reactors. And that's an internal observation. So we're making an internal observation of what our reaction is, our emotions, our experience before making any decisions. And this is the power of mindfulness, going beyond self-care. This is the power of mindfulness, to be able to observe, to be able to recognize, and then be intentional rather than reacting. The other wonderful thing about mindfulness is that it allows us to create new associations, meaning that we are going to be able to change our experience. So there may be, let's just say, for example, the morning time is the most stressful for you. Perhaps getting to work, maybe there are several factors that make it very difficult, especially currently in our environment. There's a lot of things that have to be prepared in order to, especially for those of you who might be in a setting where your time is already divided between a virtual room and then you have students in front of you. So that may be incredibly stressful. And so when we're using something like mindfulness, we can take a negative experience, something that, in the sense of negative, that it doesn't feel good, it's very uncomfortable, there's a lot of stress. We can take that situation and we can create new associations by being deliberate. For example, maybe I want to encourage you to take a mindfulness moment. Maybe you start off each day that way. So you come in, you're getting your classroom set up. Maybe you don't have a classroom and you're facilitating schedules all day, working with teachers and students. Well, I want to encourage you to schedule a time before you start your day, before you log in, or maybe right after you log in if you have a classroom full of students, and set aside a time for a mindfulness moment. So one of the easiest ways to set up this mindfulness moment is to do a gratitude moment. And so you can simply go ahead and say to the classroom or to yourself, we're going to go ahead and take a minute to reflect on something that we're grateful for. And I want you to do that right now. Just whatever it is that you have going on. And I recognize that we have lots going on. You may or may not hear my kiddo in the background wanting my time. So there's always going to be things going on, distractions, right? But we can just stop what we're doing and take a moment. And I'm just going to take a moment and I'm going to think about how grateful I am for her curiosity, for the love that she gives me. And so as you're sitting there and you're deliberately thinking about gratitude, I want you to think about what's changing internally. Are you feeling less stressed? Are there any sensations? Just recognize, right? What might change. So here are some tips on how to think about, okay, so I really want to start using mindfulness on a regular basis. How do I go about doing that? Got to schedule a time, but also thinking about when would be the best time, the most practical time to start incorporating mindfulness exercises in your day. Let's be realistic, right? We're busy and we want to set attainable goals. And so if we're telling ourselves, well, I want to be mindful 5 times a day, I want to use mindfulness, it's probably unlikely that we're going to be able to meet that goal. So we want it to be realistic. And then we really want to sit back and think about, what are the areas that you're hoping to change with mindfulness? Are you hoping to slow down thoughts? Are you hoping to become more in tune with your own emotions? Or is that the goal for your classroom? Maybe you have a lot of kids who are high energy, who are silly, who are funny, who get the class distracted. So maybe the goal is for the class to actually have some mindfulness moments, and for you to be able to redirect the class from that silly sort of off-task group of kiddos, be able to focus it back on the work. And so, what is it that you're actually hoping to change? Really identifying that and then being able to set those goals so that you can accomplish that. When we're using mindfulness, we really are targeting distressful emotion. A lot of times those distressful emotions, when individuals are experiencing overwhelm, it's anger, irritability, anxiousness, could be sadness. And so this is our target, right? We want to make that shift in those distressful emotions, but we want to do it in a healthy way. A lot of times we're using other things that are not healthy to manage those distressful emotions. And mindfulness is a great tool to be able to start using the application to address these emotions. And one of the things I want to say to you guys out there, and really, I hope that you'll think about adopting this idea, is that a lot of times, because emotions can be distressful, we sort of mark them off as negative. And what I really want to encourage you to think about is that every single emotion has a purpose. So our emotions are innate within us. We need them. We need them to survive. Every single emotion carries a message. What can happen is when we're with those messages, we're not sure all the time how to process them. We don't always understand what it is that they actually are telling us. And so mindfulness is a great opportunity to slow down and really start understanding what it is that those emotions are trying to tell us. So, excuse me, emotions are innate. We need them, and they come with a message. And this is one of the best gifts that you can give a kiddo, is to start understanding that their emotions are not bad. They're not good. They are messengers, and we need them because they tell us things about ourselves and our environment. And so even though an emotion is sometimes almost intolerable, right? When you feel really, really sad, or you're experiencing a lot of irritability, or even anger or rage, it's very uncomfortable. And so we want to just get rid of it. But those emotions, even though they are stressful, they are delivering a very important message. Let's take anger, for example. Anger is often coming with a message of, hey, you have violated a boundary. Or it could even be coming with a message of, I value something, and that is either being taken away from me, or it is being dishonored in some way. And so even though anger is uncomfortable, it increases our heart rate, it can make us sweaty, it can cause our face to be flushed. There's a lot of physiological things that happen with anger and anxiety, right? Most of us do not care for anxiety, but anxiety, even in our natural state, has a message that it's carrying. And so I really want to encourage you guys to look at mindfulness as an opportunity to really start having a different relationship with emotions, because they are so important. All right. So last couple of the thoughts about being deliberate is just make sure you're scheduling a time for this, because in reality, to create new habits, we just have to come up with some creative ways to make sure that we are holding ourselves accountable to making that happen. And then you can incorporate this in family time so that it doesn't feel like just another thing you have to do, because sometimes we can feel that way. But you can really incorporate this in family time or class time, any way that you want to. Here are some ideas. So sometimes we put mindfulness in a little box and we're like, okay, this is mindfulness. But mindfulness is so expansive. It really has, you can really go in so many different directions with mindfulness. We talked about meditation. Meditation can be done on your own, but it can also be guided. So you'll have somebody talking. This is a great way to start out, especially if you are, in fact, struggling with a lot of intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts are not always bad thoughts. Sometimes intrusive thoughts are just thoughts about what we have to do for the day, or an upcoming project or an event. but they are thoughts that we are having trouble pushing away. And my allergies are getting to me this morning, so I'm going to try to get through this presentation without too much interruption. There is guided imagery as well, and I'm really excited about Lisa. She's going to take us through that presentation. So you'll have an opportunity to really enjoy guided imagery, so I'm really excited for that. There are different relaxation techniques that could be breathing exercises. One of the things that I've noticed the most, sorry guys, one of the things that I've noticed the most about breathing and introducing breathing is that a lot of times individuals will say, nothing happened, nothing changed. And so I really like to incorporate body scanning with the breath. So for example, I will ask for the kiddo or the parent, because you can do this with parents if you have a high stress session coming up with a parent, whether it's a teacher conference or an actual counseling session, you can do this as a group. But what I'll ask them to do is go ahead and scan their body from head to toe, and then I will ask them to verbalize some of the things that maybe feel painful or feel tight. I will ask them to verbalize that from head to toe. So somebody might say, yeah, my shoulders are tight, my back sort of hurts a little bit. I've even heard people say things like their feet hurt, these kinds of things, right? And so I will go ahead and make a note of that. And then I'll introduce a breathing exercise. If you go on to Pinterest or Google, you can find a variety of breathing exercises. And there's square breathing, there's counted breath, there's all kinds of different breathing exercises. You can do grounding with that as well. But find what is comfortable for you. So it's just like self-care. Not everything that is good for me is going to be good for you. And so I really want to encourage you to try out a variety of breathing exercises. You don't have to commit to one. There isn't just one. There's so many different ways to do this. But you'll ask them to scan their body, and then you'll do the breathing exercise, whichever one it is that you choose. And then after the breathing is over, ask them, can you tell me what it is that you're noticing? What's changed? So they may be able to then make the connection. I do feel more calm. I have less anxious thoughts. The pain in my back has gone from a 8 to a 4. These types of things. And so I really like the body scanning because it helps to ground them first, but then also make that connection. Because realistically, if we don't see, sometimes if we don't see the immediate payoff, then it's hard to really get that buy-in. And so this is a great way to just help them really recognize and make that connection that this really does work. It takes practice, so we want to be practical. We don't want to do this one time and then go on about our business. Really want to do this often as it makes sense. And then I would honestly just schedule times throughout the day if you want to. A lot of people have their Apple, watches, or we have, again, our smartphones that can send a chime, and just a little reminder to go ahead and practice whatever it is that we've decided. Something that I would also suggest is if you are working with students and you've identified the maybe behaviors that you're wanting to change, Maybe it's distracting behavior, maybe it's emotional outbursts, whatever that looks like. Um, Once you've identified what it is that you're hoping to help that student develop a coping skill for that's healthy, look at, when does this occur most often? Is it right before lunch when they get really hungry? And this is when they become sort of more emotional? Is it during a certain subject that maybe they struggle with? Um, Really kind of just look at when does this occur most often, and when is it that we're going to really benefit from utilizing that skill. And what I want you to think about is that we have the opportunity to utilize that skill before we see that increase in emotion, right? Or distraction or frustration, whatever that is. So if we know that a student really has a hard time with reading time because reading is difficult for them, then we might go ahead and look for the opportunity to create that mindfulness moment, so that we're going into reading with a calmer mindset, and that might help that student from escalating. So we're looking for the opportunity to create that space with calm and comfort before ever even going into that practice. A lot of times, especially the adult clients that I work with, anytime I suggest affirmations, I get the eye rolling, or the I've tried that, it just doesn't work. And so I want to encourage you to really consider, if you struggle with complimenting yourself, then it really is time to add some affirmations to your daily practice, um, so that you can love on yourself, because this is an important mindfulness practice. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and we will benefit greatly from having that self love, self appreciation, um, before we try to pour into anyone else. And so, daily affirmations really can help keep us encouraged and empowered. And it's really just an important practice. So, even if it's quotes, maybe there's quotes that inspire you. So it doesn't necessarily have to be an affirmation of like, I am, um, I love myself, and these types of suggestions. It could just be a couple of inspirational quotes that you sort of incorporate throughout your day to provide encouragement and inspiration. So, mindfulness, we're going from reaction to observation. So when we are using mindfulness, we are really just honing in, really looking inside for what is my current reaction. So, one of the most observed transition times that can be difficult is that transition, especially if you're still working from home, but even if you're on at school and you're connected virtually, that transition from work to home can be very difficult, and it can be very difficult to leave work and enter home without bringing work home. And so, a little mindfulness exercise might be to simply, before you walk in your house, and I recognize that many of us are likely transporting our children with us. So we leave work, we go pick up kiddos, and we come home. You can still do this. You can do it with your kiddos. So then you get to model that for them. So turn off the vehicle and just simply take a moment use body scanning, and become aware of what's happening internally. Are you feeling anxious? Is your body tense? Are you worried about a child that you helped earlier that day? And what we can do, depending on what works for you, is you could spend 3 or so, 2 to 3 minutes, doing a guided meditation. Or maybe there's a song that your family really loves and it really just changes that energy. So you could go ahead and play that together, sing it together. But we really want to be able to reflect on what's happening internally so that we can make a shift in our response, our going from a reactive, right? Because if we don't make that transition, what is likely to happen? I wish I could stop right now and get everyone's feedback because, the reality is that probably things like arguments, or just running right into cooking dinner and then feeling anxious and stressed. Lots of things really do happen because we're not taking that time to reflect on our current mood. And then we just are reacting out of that mood. And so mindfulness really does give us an opportunity. It's not necessarily even about always changing, right? Because maybe something has happened and we are feeling overwhelmed and sad and anxious and all of these things. But just recognizing that, it allows us to create space to process those emotions. And then we're not reacting to everything else that's coming in, right? So maybe you really have had a tough day at work because I think we can all empathize with the computer not working, the internet not working. I know that I have personally witnessed my own kiddo attending a class and, 8 kids ask the same question. And, I'm not even the teacher. And I'm like, she just answered you guys already, like, 5 times. You're really going to ask 6, 7, 8, right? So all of that stress just builds and builds and builds. And so it's not about trying to necessarily just push away all of those emotions, but just recognizing them. And then we create space, and we're aware so that we're not reacting. We can observe that emotion. This absolutely takes practice. Something that I think is helpful in making that shift and that transition is what I mentioned earlier. We're not judging our emotion. Emotions come with a message. They are really important. So we are making that shift from judgment to observation. So nothing is good or bad. Nothing is right or wrong. We're just labeling it and observing it. I'm going to say this over and over again because just how we are as humans, we absolutely have to take time to start practicing this because it just doesn't come naturally because this is not the environment it hasn't been an environment that we have developed as a society. I think we're really getting there. We're really understanding the benefits of mindfulness. And so there are areas that we've been more successful in doing this. But on just a general basis, it's difficult because we're very task oriented. We're very production oriented. And so this is just not something that we're very much pass or fail, success, right? Or not. And so this can be a bit of a challenge to make a shift from non-judgmental to observational. And so this can be something that it just takes practice before we really buy into it, because then eventually when we go from judging our emotions as good or bad, and we actually start observing them and just being in tune with them and recognizing the message, so many positive outcomes come from that. And then we're able to really recognize that and see it. So I want to encourage you, do this in the morning, do it in the evening. Just take some time to just sit back and observe what's happening internally. It could even be after the shower. It could be right before bed. Just practicing this is going to be really helpful. Something that is really powerful, and there are a lot of people talking about this, and this is hands down why mindfulness is so important. We used to think that, once the brain was the way it was, that's just how it was, right? This very rigid idea of how our brain works. And what we really recognize now is that our brain is constantly able to create new patterns, but it is really about routine. And so, for example, I'm a coffee drinker. So part of my routine, I don't even think about it. I have that cup of coffee in the morning before I do anything. So one of the things that I could do to create a new mindfulness habit is I could really pay attention to the coffee. How does it make me feel? Does it make me feel warm and fuzzy? Can I actually notice the process of that caffeine sitting in and waking up all of my neurons, right? So I could even take something that I enjoy, like my cup of coffee, whenever you have that cup of coffee or tea or whatever your morning routine looks like, and really spend some time. So what we understand about neuroplasticity is that we literally can create new pathways in the brain. And this is so encouraging. And so I really want to empower you and encourage you to recognize that even though it does require, right, that deliberate time to focus, we really can create behavior change, healthy behavior change, just by being consistent. And it literally will rewire the brain. So a class that's off task, a class that maybe has a lot of clowns in it, laughing all the time, distracted, lots of talkers, you really can set up mindfulness moments to really change how you are in, and in fact, they are reacting in your environment. Here's another sort of just kind of example. So what we know now is that there are two different types of brain plasticity. So the plasticity that is part of our development, our experiences, our memories. When we talk about psychotherapy, this is really what we're working on and remember, right, when we go to counseling or anything like that, we are working on something on a regular basis. And so that change takes time. So do not be discouraged if you take a few activities and you implement them in your classroom or with your counseling and you don't see a change right away. It is going to take time, but through that time, we actually are going to create new structures in the brain. And then functional plasticity is very encouraging because the brain actually uses different areas. And this is where we even see dysfunction. So maybe there's a part of the brain that's actually injured. And so like a traumatic brain injury. And so you'll see the other parts of the brain trying to compensate for that. But I think it's really powerful to just recognize that our brain is constantly capable of changing and growing and developing in healthy ways. So you can start meditating. And again, this is the very classic pose, but there's reasons for that. because we really want to prepare the mind and the body for the time. So we want to really recognize our breath. That's going to be so key in getting the benefits from mindfulness or meditation. So let's say, for example, you have a child who is often struggling with emotion. How you help them become more aware, but also the way that I explain it to my clients is we're going to learn how to speak the brain's language, because the parts of our brain that are responsible for taking care of us when we are needing to run away from a bear, that part of the brain speaks a different language than the part of our brain that needs to pass the math test. And so we're going to learn how to speak a different language so that our brain can come back online. So we really want to be aware of our posture and our breath. So this is just an example of how you can prepare for a meditation session. But it doesn't mean that this is what you have to do. You can simply just do a mindful meditation moment in your chair, planting your feet, firmly on the ground, and just becoming aware of your body in that chair and really taking the time to relax. Some really easy things to incorporate in your day are going to be things like mindfulness coloring. Many people really enjoy this and really benefit from it, and your kids will too. And so if you can frequent the dollar store and pick up color pages. And there are some really nice mindfulness coloring books coming out in the dollar store because they were produced and they got so popular. So before, when you had to pay $20 for one, you don't have to do that anymore. You can really, and a lot of times, even access them free online. But even stretching. So maybe the class is just, really distracted. Get them up out of their seats and just practice stretching. This is a relaxation technique. This will promote calming. And then, physical activity, this is so challenging right now, but it's so important. And I know firsthand, it's been challenging for me to meet my physical activity goals. And so I have had to take extra steps to try to do this and try to incorporate this in my life, because it's something that can easily get taken off of my list. And so it's really important. Journaling. Sometimes people have a hard time getting started, but one of the things that you can do, a lot of bookstores, they'll have books that just have book stems, or you can even, there's so many resources online. If you just go ahead and search journaling topics, it'll give you things to write about every day. So if you sit down and you're like trying to journal and you're like, I don't even know what to write about, you can look for just ideas. It'll give you like 10 examples of things to write about, and that'll help start getting you started. But the cool thing about journaling is it's sort of like this emptying. So we're just emptying out all of the thoughts and things for the day, and then at nature observing, that is for most of us really relaxing, but for most of us, especially right now in the virtual world that we're living in, we really have to seek out those opportunities to connect with nature, because we are constantly on the computer, constantly on the phone. And so we really have to seek out these opportunities. Progressive relaxation. I think you're going to do a little bit of this with the guided imagery, but there are tons of videos that you can look up. This is something I highly recommend for individuals who have a hard time going to sleep. There are progressive relaxation videos that you can watch that will help you tense up your muscle groups and then relax them. But again, it's speaking the the body's language, the brain's language. So it's talking to a different part of the brain that's responsible for a lot of different things, but not that prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for reason and logic. And so hopefully we'll get a time where we can really talk about the brain later on in the future. This is an exercise that you can do with your students. It's really straightforward, but it just helps them. So you can have them imagine, let's say, for example, you have a student who you can tell right away that they've had a hard morning. Maybe they're disheveled, maybe their facial features, they're angry, or they're just shut down and they're really withdrawn. You guys know your kiddos, and so most of you probably can tell right away when your kiddos have had a hard morning and they're not off to a great start. But you can just, say, okay, everybody, and you don't have to exclude that individual. You can just make it a part of the group, right? Or you can, if you need to just set aside that time, you can have them do this by themselves. But you will have them imagine that they are blowing up the balloon. And as they're doing that, you're going to help them, right? Blow out all of that negative energy that you're feeling, right? Blow out everything that happened this morning that wasn't fun, right? And then the other neat thing is that you're going to teach them to release that. And so once they imagine that that balloon is completely full, they're going to let it go. So you can let that go in a variety of different ways based off of the student. So you can have them imagine that they blow up all their worries and they have this big, big balloon and they just let it go. Usually you'll get a laughter after that, especially with little kids. Or you can have them, breathe out while they're letting go of that balloon. So this is, and you can be as creative as you want to. So you can verbalize for them. I see all those anxieties and worries just floating far, far away and looking at that beautiful big sky. So you can be as creative, or you can do this as quick as you need to. So this is just a very simple bye-bye balloon. And I think I just made this up based off of something else I was doing. And that's what's so neat about mindfulness, is that you really can be as simple and straightforward, or as creative and as expansive as you want to. So probably there's a lot of things that you do on a regular basis in your day, in and out, in the classroom, whether you're a teacher or a counselor. There's a lot of things that you're already doing that you can just put a mindfulness spin on based off of kind of what we've talked about today. So I love it so much. It's just very accessible. This is something that you can go through if you are really working with distressful emotions. So maybe you are a counselor and you're looking for some activities to really help that individual make that connection with their emotions, to really learn how to be an observer. And so this is just a step-by-step form. You can find this online. It's just called Accepts. This is a resource. You'll have the presentation, so you'll be able to get this, but you can go on there and grab some resources as well. Let's see. I think I'm going to omit this one just because you guys are going to go into a guided imagery session. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go ahead and get us set up for the next part. What we are going to do today. So I am going to bring on Lisa. Let me change my settings. Make you the co-host. Unmute you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I am so excited. I was able to set in on the last guided imagery that you provided us, and it was wonderful. And you guys are in for a real treat. And so I just, if at all possible, whatever it is, really take this time to be kind to yourself and take this time for you. So just spend this time, disconnect from all of the tasks that you have planned to do for the next 30, 40 minutes and really take that time for yourself. I'm gonna let Lisa go ahead and tell you a little bit about herself and what she's going to be doing for you today. But I'll be hanging out with you guys and I'll see you in a bit. I'm gonna hand it over to you.
Okay. My name's Lisa McFadden. I am an RN. I've been a nurse for 40 plus years now. And I became interested in hypnosis, many, many years ago, and actually just began practicing it. Well, let me back up. I became formally trained in it about 2 years ago. But throughout nursing, I used many of the techniques that are used in hypnosis, such as the guided imagery and relaxation, to just help people get through some very difficult times. Maybe they were having a lot of pain or anxiety. So I had used the different tools of hypnosis very successfully over the years. And so now that's a big part of my focus. One of the first things that I do when people come into my office is to teach them how to breathe. And believe it or not, most of us as adults don't know how to breathe. If you watch a baby breathe, their chest does not rise much at all. But if you watch an adult breathe, we tend to breathe more upper body, the upper part of our chest. And this is actually a very tense way to breathe. And so for breathing to be relaxing, which it naturally is, one must breathe from down deep into the belly. And so if you want to check right now, you can just put your hand over what's called the epigastric area, but the area right below your chest, right? And then put one up on your chest. And as you breathe in, what you should notice is there's very little movement in this upper hand, but in the lower hand on your abdomen, you should feel the expansion. If you've ever watched a baby breathe, you'll notice how its little belly goes in and out, in and out. Yours should too. And when you breathe in this way, then deep breathing, slow deep breathing, just naturally has a relaxing effect. And you can use this with yourself. You can also use it with students. I worked for a little while as a school nurse, and I've used it with students where they come in and they're all upset, and I have them focus for a moment on, let's see how you're breathing. Let's breathe, and it calms them down. So it's just a natural way to calm yourself down. And it's the way I'd like for you to breathe as we go through this session. So since I can't see you and you're not with me, I have to say that I have to tell you you should not be driving. This session is meant to induce a very relaxed state. So you should not be driving or operating heavy equipment or doing any activity that requires your full and total focused attention. Okay? So the next thing is to just make yourself comfortable. And I don't know if you're at home in an office, if you have a recliner, just kind of lean it back with your feet up. If not, comfortable chair or couch, anywhere that you feel that your body and your arms and legs are fully supported. If you are sitting in a straight back chair, go ahead and center yourself in the chair and know that while you will become very relaxed, your body will remain upright. And if you're perhaps lying on the bed or a couch, just prop yourself into a semi-sitting position so that you'll be less likely to fall asleep. And so just go ahead and make yourself comfortable. I'm going to turn up a little music here and allow your arms to rest comfortably, either on the arms of the chair or in your lap, however is most comfortable for you. And now as we begin, go ahead and take in a slow, deep breath, way down deep in your belly. And as you exhale, allow your awareness to settle down into your body. Become aware of the feel of your body, sitting or lying there, resting, supported. And if you have not already, as you take your next breath, go ahead and allow your eyes to just gently close and feel the relaxation begin. Simply allow your body to relax, breathing in deeply, exhaling slowly and completely. Because deep breathing is just naturally relaxing. So just let go, as if you're breathing in peace and serenity, while all the tension, all the tightness in your body is simply floating away on the exhaled air. Feel it. And it feels good to just allow your body to relax. And with each breath in, feel the tranquility flowing through your body. And with each exhale, feel the release of tension, of worries, of tightness, of sorrow, so that your breath is like a cleansing breeze. We've all had the experience of opening the windows of our house on a breezy spring day, that first fresh breeze of spring, allowing it just to float through, cleansing away the dankness of winter, refreshing each room as it drifts through. And isn't it wonderful that just like opening the windows to allow in a spring breeze, you're able to open your mind and allow the relaxation, the comfort, the peace to float in with each inhalation, and with each exhalation, all those things that bring you tension or worry, all the dankness in your mind, your soul, your body, can simply float away, floating away like balloons released on a breezy spring day, just floating higher and higher into a clear blue sky, floating further and further until they're just a tiny speck, barely even visible against that spring sky. And then they simply disappear as if they had never existed. And it feels so good, so very good to just relax, to just let the calm, peaceful serenity fill your body, your mind, your very soul. And it feels so good to simply let go, to feel more and more relaxed, to feel the quietness, the stillness, like the mirrored surface of a calm, still lake. And as you continue to relax, I'd like to teach you a very simple and easy technique to relax anytime, anywhere that you want to feel calm and relaxed. You work hard and you deserve to give yourself this gift of peace. So as you take your next deep breath, take the tip of your index finger and press it gently against the tip of the thumb on the same hand. And it doesn't matter which hand, your left, your right. You can even do it with both hands if you like. Just simply take in a very deep, relaxing breath. Touch the tip of your index finger to the tip of your thumb. And as you gently press the tips together, allow yourself to relax even further. That's right. Just let it happen. And you don't have to try, because deep breathing just naturally elicits a relaxation response. And you're doing very well, allowing your body to simply relax. And as your body relaxes, your mind does as well. And any unwanted thoughts that might enter your mind can just be noted and released, so that your mind, like your body, is calm, peaceful. And again, press the tip of your index finger to the tip of your thumb and allow yourself to relax even further, relaxing deeper and deeper, breathing in relaxation and breathing out any tensions, any tightness, any worries, feeling calm, serene, centered. Just simply letting go, feeling more and more relaxed, more comfortable, feeling safe, so that even that spiritual part of you feels lighter, serene, breathing in peace, breathing out any hurt, any sorrow, so that you're filled with a quietness, a stillness of body, mind, and soul. Relaxing so deeply so soundly. And you will become even more and more relaxed as we continue through this session, feeling calm, peaceful, serene, and safe. And as you continue to relax, I wonder if you've already begun to notice an almost imperceptible change occurring around you. A light, a wonderful, warm, healing light, a soothing light. That's right, you see it. And as you become more aware of it, notice how it brightens. Notice the soothing nature of the light as it descends upon you, surrounds you, embraces you. Notice the peaceful feeling of this light as it wraps around you, as you breathe it in, breathing in the compassion of this light, that feeling of unconditional love and acceptance, as though this light had a compassionate intelligence all its own. And as you continue to breathe in this light, this warm, loving light, notice the gentle waves of relaxation beginning in your scalp. Warm, welcome waves flowing through each tiny muscle of your scalp, loosening, soothing, your scalp becoming smooth and relaxed. Feel the relaxation as it flows now down, over, and through, and across your brow, washing away any frown lines. Brow becoming smooth and soft. Feeling relaxed. Relaxation moving down across your face. The tiny muscles around your eyes begin to relax, become supple and loose. More and more relaxed as it flows now down to your jaw becoming loose and limp, slack. Perhaps your lips part slightly. Breathing in this wonderful, healing, soothing light. And notice now, as the waves move down the back of your scalp and into your neck, like a million tiny fingers massaging each and every muscle of your neck, soothing away any tension, any tightness, so that your neck is relaxed, muscles loose and limp, all the tension just washed away. And now that relaxation begins to wash across your shoulders, washing away any burdens, removing the load so often carried there, cleansing your shoulders, the muscles becoming soft and supple and relaxed. Doesn't that feel good to just let go of all those burdens, all the weight that's carried there? Just let it go. And notice this relaxation as it continues its gentle pathway down into your upper arms. The muscles of your upper arms becoming soft and supple and relaxed. Waves of gentle relaxation flowing down through your elbows and into your lower arms. Any tension or tightness simply washed away, floating away on this gentle way. Notice as it moves through your wrist into your hands warm and relaxed, and all the way now through all the tiny muscles of your fingers, relaxing, soothing, so that your arms are loose and limp, heavy with relaxation from the tips of your fingers to your hands, to your arms, to your shoulders. And feel this wonderful, easy feeling washing now into your chest, smoothing away any areas of tightness or tension. Feel it as it flows around your heart, massaging away any worries, any concerns, any sorrow. Flowing now through your chest muscles, everything becoming loose and limp, so very relaxed, so peaceful and calm. And notice now as it flows into the very upper parts of your back, and how warm and gentle the feeling, how peaceful and tranquil as it moves on down through your back. Feel it. Doesn't it feel good as it winds its way around and between each and every vertebrae? Your back becoming relaxed and supple. The relaxation flowing through every muscle as it moves down into your lower back. All tension, all tightness, any discomfort simply just washed away. Feel it as it moves into your abdomen, caressing every organ, releasing any tension or discomfort held there, as though it moves with a deliberate intelligence into those spaces where compassion and healing are most needed. And it feels so good to relax, to simply let go, allowing the relaxation now to flow down into your thighs, the large muscles of your thighs becoming loose and limp and supple, warm and comfortable. As relaxation continues down through your knees into your lower legs, your calves becoming soft and relaxed, soothing warmth, relaxation flowing across your shins, and now through your ankles and into your feet, those wonderful feet that support you all day long, that carry you about on your journey throughout your day. All the discomfort and tension, tiredness simply washed away as the waves continue down, down, down to the very tips of your toes, so that you are totally, completely relaxed from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, feeling that wonderful, warm relaxation flowing through every cell in your body. That wonderful, lazy, relaxed feeling from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Doesn't that feel good? That wonderful, soothing light flowing through every cell in your body, bringing peace, comfort, love, safety, and security. Your own healing light. Feel the compassion flowing from it. Feel the compassion flowing from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Feel that wonderful acceptance of you as you are, radiating from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. And now, as you continue to relax and to bask in this soul healing light, you're about to arrive at a very special place, a place that belongs only to you, where you have everything you need to be happy, confident, calm, whole. A place where you feel centered, serene, safe. Now, this may be some place you remember from your life. It could be some place that you've always wanted to go. Or it could simply be a place that you have invented in that wonderfully creative mind of yours. Perhaps even just this moment. And I don't know, but what I do know is, in this place, you are in control. You are safe. All you need to be happy and secure is right here in your special place. All that you deserve, a sense of peace, of well-being, of security, of acceptance, is right here in your special place. Now, as I count down from 3 to 1, you'll begin to see your place. And on the count of 1, you will step into it. 3, noticing the thought, the vision, the idea becoming clearer and clearer. 2, more and more relaxed and ready to explore this wonderful place. And 1, feel the security, the serenity as you step into your special place. Go ahead. Step into it now and begin to explore everything here. Use all your senses. Take it all in. You may notice if it's inside or outside. Is it light or dark? What colors are there? What smells? Perhaps there are comforting smells that belong only to your special place. What sounds do you hear? What do you hear in your wonderful, safe place? Soothing, safe sound. And reach out, touch. What textures are in your place? Perhaps you notice the temperature or the air upon your cheek. Just look and listen. Feel, smell, and yes, even taste if there are tastes in your special place. It is all yours, so take it all in, feeling safe, secure, and centered. And as you look around, notice the vastness of your special place. It is as limitless as imagination, and we all know that imagination is limitless. And now, as you explore your world, notice you've come upon a reflective surface. Perhaps it's a mirror or a reflection from another surface, or perhaps a reflection from a still lake. And as you look into this reflective surface, see yourself surrounded by this light of compassion, as though it were a protective blanket. And as you look at yourself, you see not just the you, the one right here, right now, but the you when you are less than perfect, the you when you're tired or frustrated, when you're angered, the you when you succeed, and the you when you fail, the you when you are proud, and the you when you're ashamed. And as you look at all these versions of yourself, notice how the light shines even brighter, how it spreads even further, just waiting to be pulled around you, all of you. And you control the light. You control this blanket of compassion. So go ahead. Go ahead now and pull it around you. Embrace the less than perfect parts. Embrace the happy parts, the parts of you who are proud, and the parts that make you feel shame. Surround them all with this wonderful blanket of compassion. And feel the compassion as it flows from this wonderful healing light through you to all these parts. Wrap it around that angry you, that tired you, and hold them close. Feel the love for each and every one of them. And as you do, as you are healing them, feel your soul as it heals as well. You no longer feel like you have to be perfect. You no longer berate yourself because you can't do it all. This healing light flows through you. It is a part of you. And you wrap it around. You protect all those parts of you because they are all worthy of love and protection. They are all worthy of compassion. Now, before you leave your special place, there's one more stop. As you stand wrapped in your healing blanket of compassion, notice there's a receptacle of some kind. Perhaps it's a box or a jar, or maybe an old trunk, or even a closet. It could simply be a basket. Whatever form it takes is the right form for you. Now go over to this receptacle and open it. And as you look inside, notice that it's empty, totally empty. But the wonderful thing is that it's big enough, more than big enough, to hold all your worries, all your concerns, all your sorrows, anything that keeps you from feeling at peace with yourself will fit in there. And the really great thing is, you don't even have to take an inventory of what those things are. Your subconscious mind knows. And it also knows that they will be safe here. You can always come back to get them if you ever desire. Or you may choose to simply leave them there in that container, knowing that you will be able to deal with anything you need to calmly, effectively, from your improved state of mind. So for now, take all those things off, those worries, concerns, sorrows, any feelings of not being good enough, any self-talk, and place them right there in that container. Go ahead, shed them all, put them all there. And notice how good that feels, how much lighter, easier you feel. Now close it up. You can even lock it and take the key with you if you want. And doesn't that feel so good? Free of all those things that bring you discomfort. Feeling so relaxed, so calm, so serene, so confident and in control. Now relax just a moment more in your special place with your healing blanket of compassionate light comforting you. And it's nice to feel so very relaxed, so calm and safe, knowing that for this moment, there's really nothing else that you need to do. Nothing else expected of you. Just this right here, right now, feeling so very serene. And isn't it comforting to know that all of this, the healing, compassionate light, your special place, this wonderful, peaceful calm, the stillness of body, mind, and spirit is just a fingertip away. All you have to do is take a deep, relaxing breath. Touch the tip of your index finger to the tip of your thumb. Gently press and allow the relaxation to flow over you. So in just a moment, you will awaken back to your normal level of consciousness, knowing that you have the power to return any time you want by simply taking a deep breath, placing the tip of your index finger against the tip of your thumb, pressing gently, and simply allowing it all to come rushing back. And you practice this every day, several times a day, because you know the importance of practice. You know that new skills are strengthened with regular practice. So every day, you set aside short moments of quiet where you can practice calling forth this wonderful feeling, this healing light, your special place. Just take a deep breath. Imagine your light if you'd like. Touch the tip of your index finger to the tip of your thumb and gently press, feeling the wonderful relaxation. And isn't this a wonderful power to possess? You're strong and confident. You're capable. You are enough. You are good enough. You are worthy. You are lovable. You are not perfect. And isn't that a wonderful way to be? Simply human, capable of many things, willing to forgive mistakes because you deserve the compassion, especially from yourself. So breathe in the compassion of the light. Breathe it in. This is compassion for you, every part of you. And as you breathe in this compassion for yourself, you're more able to breathe out compassion for others. You are an amazing person. You're good enough. You are worthy. And now it's time to return to your normal level of consciousness. And in a moment, I will count up from 1 to 5. And on the count of 5, you will awaken, totally alert, back to your normal level of consciousness, bringing with you a sense of calm, of peace, of serenity, knowing that you can return anytime you want to this wonderful state by simply taking a deep breath, imagining your light if you'd like, pressing the tip of your index finger to the tip of your thumb, and simply allowing it to occur. So now you'll leave your special place for just right now and allow your light to recede back from where it came, knowing that they're always there for you to call forth, knowing that it flows through every part of your being. And as you go about your day, today, tomorrow, and many days to come, I wonder how many times you will suddenly become aware of a newfound peace, a feeling of balance. I wonder how many times you will feel a quietness, a stillness in your heart, your soul. And now, awakening slowly on the count of 1 to 5. 1, feeling so peaceful and at ease. 2, bringing this sense of security back with you. 3, becoming more and more aware. 2, and 4, feeling rejuvenated, refreshed. And 5, opening your eyes at your own pace, back to a normal level of consciousness, wide awake. Open your eyes.
Welcome back. Hopefully, you are feeling rested and restored. This is Lisa's information. You can reach her via email or phone. If you are appreciative of this time and you'd like to meet with her again, you can just reach out to her directly. Her information is here. I want to say thank you so much for joining us during this session. I hope that you've learned a few things that you can take with you and put into practice. I hope you have an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing each of you soon.